It is election night, and we want to check back in with my co-anchor, Jeff Smith. He is at Grace Lutheran Church right now. Jeff, I know you mentioned you talked to some poll workers, even some voters in the few hours that you've been out there. Have you been able to tap into the minds of our local voters to see what is most important to them tonight?
I'll tell you what, one of the things that they keep talking about, it's just responsibility of being here on this day. Now, we know early voting has been such a luxury over the last few years, past few elections, for people to come out early and get that vote in. But there's just something, this is like a rite of passage each and every year that we have a big election, a primary like this, that voters want to do their duty and get one of these stickers as they go away. And only about 40,000 voters in Lucas County so far today. That's the numbers coming in, 15%. So earlier on WTOL 11, we talked with the director of the Lucas County Board of Elections, Lavera Scott. We were asking them if they had had any problems, anything brought up, addressed at any of the polling locations or with any of these new machines that they're dealing with this year and in the last election. But she said that they are making sure that it is a fast, easy voting process for those at the polls today. And of the voters that are behind me, they're coming in, they're voting, and they're getting out. She talked about what they have been stressing leading up to this election day. Listen.
I think transparency is very important. Having voters understand the process is very important. Not everybody's going to go to our website and read everything. Not everybody is going to come to logic and accuracy testing to see how the machines work.
These poll workers deserve a pat on the back, I'll tell you that. Some of them have been here since 5:30 this morning, getting everything ready to go for the course of the day. They will be here until 7:30 tonight. The director says that they are making sure that they have plenty of workers on hand to answer questions, address issues. We've seen some user error out here, and sure enough, Johnny on the spot, these poll workers are right there to help these voters on their way. Lavera Scott saying the goal of the board is to make sure that the trust level is heightened and not diminished by this process. Hey, voters in the Toledo area, they are weighing in on issue 1 and issue 2 as they cast their ballots today. If you come in and you request a non-committed ballot, you will vote only on issue 1, issue 8, and issue 2. Issue 1 is a 3/4% income tax renewal. Some of the $75 million of Toledo's tax dollars will go to Toledo Police and Toledo Fire and Rescue. Now, issue 2 is a 1/4% income tax renewal, asking for around $25 million to go toward Toledo's various road-related projects. Also on the ballot, we mentioned it, issue 8, the Lucas County Mental Health and Recovery Services is asking that voters approve a new $1 mil property tax levy. This new levy will replace the agency's former cost, or this levy will cost let's go back. This new levy will replace the agency's former property tax levy of 0.5 mils. The levy will cost a property owner $35 for every $100,000 in valuation. And it will generate, they say, about $9 million a year in revenue. The agency says it will use the money for expanded services to meet what they call an increasing demand. The agency says it wants to focus on youth and older adults to provide better services within the correction system. The other things we're tracking for you, of course, schools, levies on the ballot, both in Lucas and Wood County. Specifically, Ottawa Hills voters, they are voting on a tax issue for the schools. Our Dominique O'Neill, he joins us live with much more, breaking this down for us. So what should voters know who are still heading to the polls?
Yes, Jeff. Voters should know that if this is approved, it would mean that $2.3 million in for the school would help them with their classroom resources and athletic programs. But if it doesn't pass, there will have to be cuts made to the classroom and also athletic programs. And the district says that if their 12.9 mil is approved, like I said, 2.3 million will be available for them to use for things like class resources in their athletic programs. And coming up at 6, we have more on what homeowners, how it will impact homeowners. Reporting in Toledo, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11. Back to you, Jeff.
All right, Dominique, thank you so much. Voters will also get a chance to weigh in on the Otsego local schools levy. This one would be a 0.5% income tax for 5 years. So there's a term here. It's only for 5 years. The school district says if approved, the money will go towards support services for the district and cover costs for equipment, materials, and utilities for the school. The district says that after the 5 years, that tax would either expire or they would ask for it to be renewed by voters. Our team coverage continues here tonight. We are going to check in with Andre Norrells. He is in Perrysburg as voters there in that Wood County section. They are voting on a school district levy out there. And district leaders, Andre, telling you that they feel this thing really needs to pass.
High School, which is one of the voting locations here in Perrysburg. And like you said, one of the things voters are deciding tonight is on a school bond issue. Now, this bond issue would help with the elementary schools that the superintendent says are overcrowded. Now, Tom Hosler is the superintendent of Perrysburg schools and says the overcrowding is linked to the city of Perrysburg population growing. Woodland Elementary is one of the primary schools in the district. Hosler says the capacity was built for 350 students, but today there are 600 students there. One solution the district uses is adding trailers on school property for additional classroom space. Hosler says if the bond passes, the money will be used to get rid of the trailers at the elementary schools by building a new elementary school and expanding 3 of the current schools. Now at 6, I'm going to talk about how much this bond issue will cost for taxpayers, and you'll get a chance to hear from some voters themselves. Reporting in Perrysburg, Andre Norrells, WTOL 11.
You know, it is inspiring, Melissa, to be out here on a day like this. And Chris, I know you're back in the studio too, and you guys have dealt with this over the years. There's a sense of civic pride, especially when you do the voting on a day like this, and people have a smile when they put that sticker on their lapel. For now, reporting from Grace Lutheran Church in West Toledo, I'm Jeff Smith. Back to you guys in the studio.
Couldn't agree with you more, Jeff. It's definitely a sense of pride. Appreciate your coverage tonight.